Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach. I think I'm almost done now with this init thing. I did a lot of thinking off camera and how I wanted to do this and what approach I should take. And I finally landed on pretty much backing most of it out. So the thing that I was struggling with was, like I said, I realized, and I have some of my notes up here so you can read them if you want, but the thing I realized was the way to make a mock object, you call this instance method. Well, that would be the only place that you could actually do property initializers. But you can't hard code that because you don't know, based on what expectations have been set, which ones you need to call and with what values and all that other stuff. So I started thinking about it more and I'm like, well, I could do something where I'm using reflection because it's still a set property call, and see for all the properties that are init properties, see if any expectations were set and if they had constant values. And then I went, wait a minute, whoa, stop. If I'm setting expectations myself such that they're going to be set in the instance method itself, the properties, the way that they're implemented, they don't keep a backing field. The only way, like for a get method, a get property to return anything that you want it to, is you have to set up a callback method, or you set the return value. In the setter, if you want to look at what the value is, then you set up a callback value. That's just how it works. And so with the init, it's kind of useless because any expectations you set are like, all you're doing it for is for nothing. There's no reason to do that for an init. You would give that object to something that you're going to be using underneath the scenes. It's already been constructed. So you can't do anything with the initializer. And there's never been anything in Rocks to say, oh, by the way, when you are creating the object, other than calling its constructor, to pass in initialization values. So, even now as I'm saying this, I was thinking, well, maybe you could pass something in on the constructor, but I said no. What I'm going to put in the documentation, in fact, even if I put it in the documentation, it doesn't matter, because you wouldn't be able to call the init property anyway afterwards. You only be able to call get, and then you would just use the normal facilities that are in Rocks to return a value. And that's all you do. So there's no reason to set any kind of expectations for Rocks. So all the work I've been doing, and I don't know how many episodes, I essentially backed it out. I still have to emit like the init line of code in the mock object because I have to. Otherwise, it's going to be a compiler error. But that's all I do. There's no way to do anything else with initializers afterwards. So that really simplifies things. Now, the one thing I'm going to do is, you see in the notes here, I think I would try to do this in the last episode, is let's write as many tests as I can for init properties. And I'm still going to do this because I want to make sure that I am emitting the right code for these scenarios. That it's, again, you're not going to be able to set expectations, but at least I want to make sure that I'm producing the right thing. Okay, so I already have a unit test around this, and I'm okay with that. I'm now just going to do integration tests and write a whole bunch of them, as much as I can in the next 20, 25 minutes, just to make sure everything works the way I expect. And if it does, then if there's any other tests afterwards, I will do them off camera, but then I think this issue should be closed. And it will finally work in that if you do have an init-based property, it at least won't cause Rocks to fail like it is now. So good enough, as we say. Okay, so let's go into our tests here. And this one, and again, I don't know why it's doing this red here. It's perfectly capable. Well, now it can't, but it was. Though if I build it, it says it succeeded. So I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. So I think I want to say abstract class generic indexer get and init. Okay. You know, I could have get and init here, get and set, and, you know, all these different things, but I'm like, no, that would just be pretty problematic. So we're going to say here, create with init with init. Okay, so we're going to say here, get an init, and I think I have to be up here and saying init. Init and init. How many times am I going to say that? Drinking game. And by a drinking game, I mean you're just going to drink a sip of water, because I would never encourage you to actually drink alcohol on this channel. Never. No, 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 no. That would never happen. Okay, so we now have that. We have indexers. We say for. We, of course, can't do anything. We say verify. Does this pass? And it does. So we're good. Okay. So let's do the make using generic type with init. That should work. Create using generic type parameter. What is create using generic type parameter? I don't understand what the difference is. Okay. Is this returning? Chunk is not null here. It doesn't know what that is. I don't know. With init. Get init. That should be fine. Make using generic type parameter. I can't even talk right now. I'm like, my voice is not gone. I just have problems. Okay, rock make using that and with init. It was funny as I was doing all this, I'm like, sometimes the best, you know, I think I was almost fighting myself to go down that path, because I had put so much work into doing that. And I'm like, I don't want to, you know, basically undo everything I had just done. But, you know, the right thing to do was to say, nope, change what you got, because that's the right thing to do. Okay. All right, let's see if these all work. So anything that has to do with indexers and they pass, good. Anything that has to do with indexers or properties, I'm going to be changing. So method property. Okay. So here I'm going to have with init. And, you know, I could have the case where I'm doing get and init. Shut up, stomach. Because, you know, there might be this corner case somewhere that I missed, and I don't want to do that. With init. There we go. Now that at least some of those passed, I have more confidence that more of these will pass, if that makes sense. With init. There we go. Create using generic type parameter. That with init. If you have followed my drinking game, I should, you know what, note to Jason, have a running number floating there of all the times I've said that word, and we'll see how much I am at the end. And, you know, I apologize. I don't know why my stomach is growling so much right now. Maybe it's hungry for this feature to be done. That was a terrible joke. That was an awful joke. Just absolutely awfully, terribly good. And those pass. Yay. Okay, so we got properties. We got in abstract Indexer tests. Yeah, indexers are proper. Anything. Getter and setter. We're going to have getter and init because, you know, that's how we roll over here. That'll make editing this video fun. Oh, well, I guess I don't need to do that because I've already done it. Method, property. So we're going to want get and set. We're going to want get and init. Just follow the code patterns that we have here, Jason. And we're going to want a public abstract int init data. I wonder if it's going to bark at me the same way it does this. This is the same CA. Yep. We'll just encompass the whole thing. And because okay. So create get, make get, create get with raise events. Create get with callback. Create get with raise event and callback. Create set. Okay. There's nothing to test with init. All I'm making sure is that I have, oh, this needs to be get and init. All I'm making sure is that I'm producing the right code. None of the tests should actually like do anything. Because I don't need to make new tests for any of these. I mean, I guess I could for get and init data. Yeah, so if there's a create get and set one, let's follow these. So we'll do create get and init. Except we can't do this. Okay, we're going to say get and no, get and init. Oh, because it's okay, because it doesn't know. There we go. So create get and set, make get and set, and we want make get and init. So the only thing we can do is that, and we can't do that because that's not allowed. So we got create get and set, make get and init, make get and set, and we can't do an init property, as I've already said. Init. Just have the counter keep going. This is like Cinema Sins, except that it's init sins, which that in and of itself just it's like you can't say the word it in Monty Python. Okay, I think we're all good here. So let's run these tests and see where we're at. Ooh, one failed. What failed? Create get and init. Oh, that would be the problem. What the wonders of unit tests, I'm telling you. That's what you need. We call get and init, and then one, yep, there you go. All right, arg test, asynchronous class, generic indexer tests. So I think, what did I do up here? Yeah, I just had a get and I'm going to try to throw myself to see if I get and the magic word. Oh. So we need to say here, get init, the thing. Why can't I do that? Oh. Really? How do I write code? How do I do all the code? This is a indexer. Must declare by because it's marked as abstract, extern, or partial. Well, I guess that, okay, this one, okay. And then this one like that. Now I should still be able to override them. Okay. Create using generic type. Sure, let's just with init. Get init. That should be okay. None of this should really change. We're just trying to do with init. I don't even want to guess as to how many times I've said that word. I'm going to say my guess is 253. Because why not? I mean, it's just a number. Maybe I'll get close to that number. Oh, yeah, it's that. Okay, and then type parameter as return. And then, I mean, these tests feel a little worthless, but again, I want to make sure that we're handling it in all cases, no matter what. Okay. I wonder what the other mocking libraries are doing for init, because I think with substitute, you can actually set everything up beforehand and then say initialize it. But again, what would that gain you? You're the one that's stating it. So different than a public setter, because you could change that afterwards when it's been given to something. So yeah, I don't know. Indexer, method, property tests. What did I say here? Class generic, abstract class generic property tests. Okay, I said that, so we'll do the same thing here. Watching the time, get, and you know. So we're going to change that. Get default. Sure. And did I just do this? There, yeah. I knew I did. I knew it. There we go. Down the line again. Grab that. And just keep repeating as nauseam. But like I said, I will not subject you to torture, because this isn't torture right now. Not even close. This is educational. When I'm recording, I try to do IntelliSense on the method name. No, with IntelliCode, it might have said, "Hey, I know how you want to end that, so maybe I'll do that for you." But I'm right around Thanksgiving time as I'm recording this video, and so yeah, I've kind of hit that. I'm taking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and so I'm kind of hitting that nearing the end of the work and getting ready for the pure vacation of just bliss and doing nothing else. All right. So what I'm going to do here, that's interesting. That's actually really interesting. I didn't think of that case. I will do that. So we're going to have a getter setter. We're going to have a getter init. This is class indexer getter, which is fine. Class indexer setter. But what we're going to do here is, nope, not that. We're going to call this init. Init which will make these tests pretty worthless because there's really nothing you can do here other than the event stuff. But again, to be thorough. So we're going to say create with one parameter get and setter. I think this is the last one I'll subject you to. I don't know how many more are here that I would actually have to do. There's property events. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's just 5 more, but I will not do that to you. That would be, you probably have already stopped watching, right? Getter, init, but you want to do that count. You want to see where that gets to. So we don't do the setter. This should bark because it should say we can't do, oh, but it can't because it's all red, even though it's done the right thing. So we can grab a value. We just can't do that. So we say create with one parameter, make with one parameter, getter and init. There we go. So you can say that the value would be equal to default, but you can't do that. And then that basically makes this go away because there is no multiple. And I know there's probably a test I just saw that I took that off because you couldn't do that anymore, but maybe I'll catch that later. So that's something, again, that there should be like a thing in NUnit for the analyzers to say if you have a multiple, but you're only doing one assert, there's no reason to have a multiple. You're just going to have one. Did I ever suggest that? I don't know. That feels like something I've run into before. And I don't know if the team has actually ever, like, NUnit analyzer suggest removing multiple if there is only one assert. Now, I've learned from my CSLA analyzer days that you have to be careful with that because if you're just looking within the multiple, you might have a helper method and that in and of itself is going to do like 10 assertions. Within the context, the scope of the assert multiple, you're still doing assertions. So it would be interesting as if it could give you like a warning at runtime to say, hey, by the way, you did only one assert in this multiple. Seems kind of worthless. So I don't know how easy or hard that would be. And now, of course, I've completely broken my flow here. So I've create with one parameter getter, make with one parameter getter, raise event, getter callback. Let's see if I actually start getting into, yeah. So here's create with one parameter init, which is going to be worthless because you can't do this. You're just going to make that, but that's all you can do. Okay, make with one parameter setter, make with one parameter init. And I'm only and there's no assertion, which is really bad. We're going to fix that. Assert that. Throws nothing. It should just be fine. And then we want to do block body. I'm sorry, expression body. Okay. So we did that. Create with one parameter setter raise events. We should, oh God. There's no way to do this with just an indexer because there's nothing to trigger it. So like you can say when the setter's called, you raise the event. If there's an emitter, it wouldn't do that, but that's fine. Create with one setter callback. We can't do that either. Create with multiple parameters, getter and setter. Let's do create multiple parameters, getter, and init, because why not? Nope. I'm going to get used to that. Yeah, why didn't you just change it? So we can't do... Oh, this is multiple parameters. Get it? What? Get it. Oh. Okay. I know what I was doing. Yes, we can do that. We can get rid of that. And that should be fine. Okay. Sorry, it took me a second to realize what I was actually trying to do there. And we can retrieve, but we cannot do that. And that means that goes away, that, and we're good. 1, 2, 3, 2. Yep. Okay. Make with multiple parameters, unit set, create with multiple parameters, getter. Yeah, we can't do that. Setters, we can't do setters. I think we're good. Okay. Not really sure what I accomplished with this, but I think something. And what I accomplished is if these all pass, that means, well, you're good. Because I'll stop the video here and stop the torture for you. So that'll leave me with some of my own to actually fix, but that's okay. So hopefully in the next episode, I will report that everything is good. This feature is done. And I may switch gears and do some other, like, I really want records to be supported as well, but I might just want to switch over. I don't know. There's a whole list of things I want to do. Part of the thing, though, I want to get the demos that I have in my source generator talk updated, because I am doing this talk for Dev Intersections, which is just in a couple weeks. And so, you know, some of the naming things that are in the list for rocks, I'm not going to get to because they're low priority. They're not bugs either. So I just want to make sure that everything's updated to incremental generators. And this already is. So I want to get this done, but I want record support in there. And then I want the partially applied function thing that I did to be updated as well. Then I can go on to the thing I hinted at before, which is this special generator that I might be making because it's fun. How is source generators fun? I find it fun. I find it so powerful. It's just, love it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.